City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Cadella.
Here.
Alderman Cole. Alderman Lewitton.
Here.
Alderman Police.
Here.
Alderman Shockey.
Here.
Alderman E. Wesley.
Here.
Alderman R. Wesley. Alderman Winger.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here. The quorum being present, would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of November 18th, 2010? Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Abstain.
One abstention, Alderman Wesley.
No.
Cadella.
Alderman Cadella, thank you.
Okay.
Do any citizens wish to address the council? If so, if you go to the podium and give us your name and address. However, not on the annexation yet, I will call for that later in the agenda.
Thank you.
Do any citizens wish to address the council other than on the annexation issue? Hearing none, I do not have any written communiques. That brings me to mayor's report. I want to remind everybody of the Christmas tree lighting, which will occur this Saturday. Santa will be arriving at 2 o'clock by fire truck. We'll have the Fenton Swing Choir performing in the rotunda from 2 to 2:30. Excuse me, there'll be refreshments from 2 to 5. The wagon rides, courtesy of the Historical Society, will be from 2 to 4:30. Mr. and Mrs. Klaus will be in the community room from 2 to 5. We're going to have Christmas movies here in the council chambers starting at 2 o'clock, featuring Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, Frosty Returns, and Santa Claus is coming to town. And they will culminate with fireworks at 5 o'clock out in front of City Hall. Madam Clerk.
I'd just like to
to
add,
the
hi there. I'd just like to add that the children will have their picture taken with Santa Claus. We're taking pictures.
Very good. And somewhere the chief is there. Just received an email of the police department receiving its 4th annual CALIA certification. Do you want to say a few words? And congratulations to the police department once again.
Back in April, the accreditation and the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement in America did an on-site visit at the Wooddale Police Department. 2 commissioners was a Deputy Chief Childress from the Valdosta, Georgia Police Department, and the second one is Deputy Chief Rolfe from the Coral Gables, Florida Police Department. They examined 647 standards of performance of the Wooddale Police Department. With regards to their on-site, we had 95% compliance with regards to those standards of performance. There were 6 applied discretions, 6 file maintenances, which were conducted during their on-site. 2 weeks ago, Saturday, can't remember the date, but in November, myself and Dean Kostopoulos appeared before the commission and was examined by the panel with regards to our on-site and our processes. And that occurred in California. We are now one of 32 police departments in the state of Illinois that are accredited. This is our 4th accreditation cycle. They will be due back here in 2013. Keep in mind that our communication center is also accredited separately from our police department. We are one of 2 in DuPage County that do that. The other is the Naperville Police Department. And they are due for reaccreditation in 2012. All in all, it was a very nice, clean accreditation process. This is, as you said, Mayor, is our 4th time through. Once again, many thanks to our accreditation manager, Sergeant Dean Kostopoulos. This was his 2nd term as our program manager. We are going to be getting a new program manager. It'll be Sergeant Paul Weiss. He will be attending training with the commission sometime in March, yet to be determined which location. But once again, the accreditation process really puts our police department up there for examination, not just locally, but also with other standards which are accepted through the rest of our country. So once again, thank you to Detective Correction Sergeant Kostopoulos and all the other members of the police department for their cooperation in maintaining these standards.
Well done, Chief. Congratulations to you and your department. That completes my report, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have two items. First item, with snow season upon us, I would like to remind residents, please help our Public Works Department keep the streets clean and safe this season, and do not push or plow snow back into the streets. Also, a reminder to City Council that staff has started our capital improvement planning, so you should receive paperwork on that in the upcoming weeks. That concludes my report.
That brings us to the consent agenda. There are no items on the consent agenda. Then brings us to committee chairman reports. Planning, Zoning, and Building, Alderman Cadella.
No report, Mr.
Public
Mayor.
Health, Safety, and Judiciary, Alderman Shockey.
No report.
Public Works, Alderman Wesley.
Report.
Finance and Administration, Alderman Winger.
I have no report.
That brings us to other business, an ordinance approving involuntary annexation of certain property located at the intersection of 3rd Avenue and Route 83. And before I entertain any motion on the subject, do any citizens wish to comment on the proposed involuntary annexation? Any comments or questions? Yes, ma'am. If you go to the podium and give us your name and address, please.
Mary Schauble, 17W230 Oak Meadows Drive, with a white Cape Cod, 6 house west of 83. We got this letter. Our biggest concern, of course, are our property taxes. Are we going to be forced to get sewer and water? Most of us moved there knowing we didn't have it and didn't want to have it and can't afford to get it hooked up or pay more taxes to have it. The schools, what will happen with the schools? Will the grammar schools? Will the kids have to go to a Wooddale school instead that live on Oak Meadows? When is this going to happen? I've been told by one person in Wooddale that they're saying that they want to square off the Bensonville and Wooddale territories, the boundaries. I'd like to know why you're doing this and why Bensonville didn't know anything about it.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address? Yes, sir. If you go to the podium and give us your name and address, please.
I'll follow my neighbor. My name is Neil Burgess, and I'm at 17W140 Oak Meadows Drive. Couple questions, just like was brought up before. When I initially bought 18 to 20 years ago, as far as I had contacted Wooddale about annexing and getting their water and sewer system, and was told as far as to it would cost $6,000 as far as for the city attorney as far as to look into it and give me a cost factor. Naturally, as far as at that time, as far as I had better things to do with my $6,000. 5 years ago, I did a remodel on my house, and I inquired to no avail. Didn't get any satisfactory information or a lot of information. Recently, as far as I got a correspondence in the mail maybe a year ago, saying as far as that Wooddale will be interested in our annexation. My questions are, yes, as far as when they put the water in for Wood Creek or Woodside, I understand that was because they had a circulation problem and they have water and fire hydrants as far as that they put as far as up and down Oak Meadows. At that time, as far as I asked about hooking up as far as with city water, and was given a figure of like $20,000, I believe. My question is, if we are annexed, who would pay for that? Would that be the homeowners that would be responsible for this, or would be the city of Wooddale? Number two, and I'm familiar with Wooddale because I have friends that live there, and in some of the areas that do not have sidewalks, would we get curbs like the rest of Wooddale? Or, because we have ditches in front of our houses. I don't know if you're familiar as far as with the area. Would we get curbs, street lights, and once again, yes, taxes, and one, I guess other things as far as that have been brought to my, I have a couple of snowmobile trailers, you know. I have an acre lot, but as far as they're off of the, you can't see them from the street. Would there be ordinances against as far as parking, as far as trailers like that, as far as on my property? The other thing that comes to mind is at one point I was contemplating as far as subdividing my property, and I went to DePage County because it's Addison Township, and they told me as far as if I had a wide enough driveway so that it would accommodate as far as a emergency vehicle, as far as I could subdivide my property and have additional houses built as far as in the back half of my property. My property is deep, not long, or wide rather. So these are some of the questions as far as that I'd like to have answered. And I guess like everybody else, we're just concerned as far as why now versus as far as years ago.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to comment on this issue? Yes, ma'am.
When my husband and I, my name's Joyce Skrupa, and we are at 17W044 2nd Avenue. When my husband and I were looking for properties, I couldn't believe it when my husband showed me this house that was a repossessed house, and every single window was broken, every door, there was no light fixtures, but there was nice land. My husband's handy, he's fixed up the property, and we've lived there, how long, John? 16 years. And my concern is that, you know, we actually do not have the money if we have to pay the impact fees for sewer and water. You know, we moved there and fixed this ruddy house and by ourselves, and I don't understand, as he said, why now did you want to be interested in these small little properties? And our concern is the impact for sewer and water, and we have well and septic now, so that would change water bills. So a lot of things would change for us, and that's our concerns, if you would address that. And the same question, who's going to pay for it? Is it us or you guys? That's it.
Yes, ma'am.
My name's Kathy Taylor. I'm at 17W045 2nd Avenue, and we live across the street from them. I don't have much to say. Everybody else has said what our concern is. I mean, that was wonderful. I'd like to know what advantage is it for us? Pardon? Right. Is there any advantage for us at all? Or are we just being, you know, taken? That's it.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Does anyone else wish to address the city council on this issue? Again, sir, you're going to need to go to the podium again. We do videotape this and rebroadcast it for the residents, so.
I'm sorry, I forgot to ask, do we have a choice as far as to, on this annexation? And if not, can we all have wells as far as, can we keep our wells as far as for just watering purposes, as far as knowing as far as we're going to get city water? But, you know, everybody here has invested money as far as in their wells, as far as if they haven't had them dug, as far as maintaining and pumps and everything else. And, you know, to cap them as far as to not have access to them, as far as when you have a pool or when you have as far as a lot of, you know, for watering purposes, we'd like to, at least I'd like to keep my well. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions? If not, in a minute, I expect that there is going to be a motion to table this matter to our meeting of December 16th. But before we do that, I would like to advise you, city staff We'll set up a private meeting with the owners to answer some of your questions. You'll be contacted, I believe, by Mr. Forrest, the Building Zone and Development Director, and we'll have an informal meeting probably at here, City Hall, between now and the 16th to try to answer most of your questions. After this motion to table, we're going to be going to executive session to conduct some other business. Mr. Kramer, if you would meet with these individuals in the, well, I suppose you can stay right here in the council chambers. If you would give them your contact information, Mr. Kramer's Director of City Services. We'll try to set up this meeting at everybody's convenience and answer your questions the best we can. Some of that the council will have to decide issues of policy. And that we will have to have further debate on. Obviously, at the next committee meeting, which would be next Thursday, you'd be invited to come to that as well. A committee meeting of the Building, Zoning, and Development, Planning, Zoning, and Building Committee. So if you will add that to your agenda, Alderman Cadella, next Thursday.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
We'll try to get answers for you and for us on these issues. Alderman Police, do you have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to table the ordinance approving the involuntary annexation of certain property located at the intersection of Oak Meadows Drive, also known as Third Avenue, and Route 83, until council meeting December 16th.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, one opposed, motion carries. So to clarify, next Thursday, the city council will discuss the issues you've raised in committee. You are welcome to come at 7:30. Mr. Forrest will be reaching out to you to set up a meeting where we can lay it out exactly why we're doing this and what the proposal is, and to answer your questions on an informal basis. And then final action should be taken on this on 12/16 at 7:30, back here at the council chambers.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question?
Alderman Wesley.
My question is, why was this ordinance put together then if we weren't going to react to this? I mean,
This has already been tabled, so we cannot,
well, that's
you're
why,
welcome to bring that issue up next Thursday or the
that's why I
following Thursday
abstained,
after
because I
that.
want to know why we wasted time to bring it if there was concerns before, and we notified them before we drew up the ordinance.
Okay. That brings us to bills. Alderman Winger?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve a list of bills dated December 2, 2010 for $510,538.38.
Is there a second? Second. On the question? Roll call.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Lewis?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
That passes. May I have a motion to adjourn the city council into executive session for purposes of review of the official minutes, land acquisition, and probable litigation. And by the way, I have no items to be referred, no items for information only. May I have a motion to adjourn the city council into executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C21, 2C5, and 2C11. Is there such a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Lewis?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley? Alderman Police?
That passes. We're adjourned. You could stay and meet with Mr. Kramer.